In the beginning, there was darkness. I'm going to give a recap of a brilliant explanation of things by my friend Christine. At the time was the Dreaming One channel, which is now ESSENNE Sea channel. If you haven't listened to it, I recommend you check her out. So, in the beginning was darkness. The creator which became light, the source of everything. So we draw this emerging picture for you. Imagine, if you will, the creator of everything has basically written the story and has fallen asleep in the dream. The symbol for infinity, because the creator is eternal, it's the number 8, the only number where you can put your pen on the paper and just keep going round and round infinitely. So we symbolise the creator. There's a number 8 on its side. Now this awareness, this consciousness, then went down, well, more than 2 routes, but we're concerned ourselves with the 2 routes to start with. Let's just look at the this key player first of all. The number 8. So we can express it like that. Now the creator fractalized. You perhaps can also see where you get a symbol associated with secret societies. It's also the scales. Anyway, source, fractalized. It's the spirit. It's one of the 2 caduceus, the twin serpents. It is also, when you split or fractalize it into 2, into duality, it effectively becomes this. But of course, one of them is mirrored. And you end up with that, which has associations of good and perceived evil with it, because it is the 33 vertebrae of your spine, of the organic body. It is the 33 degrees of masonry, so it is said. But we can also split it in its dreaming form. And effectively what you get is the M for magnetism and a W, which is the inverted magnetism, which you know as magic or illusion, the mirror. So it splits into the organic. There's source or spirit. There's the organic. That is the physical body. That is everything that is natural. It is nature. You'll also see it expressed, because the whole point of it is right in the middle. It's you. And I didn't draw that in very well, but it's the symbol of the sepulchre, the who, the HU. We can prove this in a physical sense, because if you were to stand outside where you had an unrestricted view all around of equal distance, you would see as far as the limit of your eyesight. It is also your magnetic field from the heart, because it is in nature. It is the subconscious mind, it is the divine feminine. The subconscious mind, the organic, that's the control system of all the organs in the body, keeping things working. Now opposite that, the O, is the L. That's the conscious mind, the divine masculine. It is also a right angle, a right angel. So you have S, O and L. Now the three are obviously connected. So you get this pyramid. Now the centre point of that, the point of that, is right here. You might have seen this on the back of the $1 bill of the United States. It's the all-seeing eye. It is the power and wisdom of the Christ consciousness and the Creator, which are, and which everything is, of course, all one. So effectively what you've got here also being shown, you've got the soul, the spirit, the body and the mind, three in one. Now the organic has replicated this split. The cells do exactly the same thing in the organic body as well. And it splits into female and male. Now the opposite of the organic, of the natural, of the nature, is the ego, the conscious mind, the aspect that wants to test its creation, and so it will test it to the maximum by running anti-nature programs, which obviously affects this. And of course, this also replicates this as well. You can think of those as your lunar and solar cults. This is what would be the demiurge, Elohim, as it were. It's the intellect. You'll see L right in the middle of intellect, because it's on the two, it's in the human form, so it's the lower calf and the foot twice. It's inside the Creator, which is represented by the T, because it is level-headed in its highest perspective. So the horizontal line is at the top, hence the letter T represents the Creator in this sense. It's not the only letter, of course, because there's also the A for the all. So inside is is God energy on two legs, L, which is us. You've got the I, that's the individual personification. G is the representation of Earth and Gaia. You are a Lord, so you have the energy which will bring you back to the Creator. So L is right in the middle there. But there's a very big difference between the egoic intelligence, the memory retention, and of course the inner knowing. But these three are all connected in one. If we are to see these twin pillars, and we can express them as the AI and the control system, the so-called controllers. So effectively this is representing the level of three-dimensional Earth, this reality. But of course, the plan is to pull humanity further down, further away from Source, further away from that spiritual connection. You'll see this being replicated on all forms of social media, where you'll find that the links no longer work in comments and in descriptions and things. It is a play out in this reality of something spiritual always. But of course, the play out is never with a positive intention. So I think you can see the V, that's going on here. But of course, regardless of which form we're in, when we're on this level, we want to be aiming to move into this Christ consciousness. And of course the spirit runs all the way through. So hence you've got this diamond shape, you've got this kite, because just like a kite, it's all about air, it's all about ascending, reaching this point here, between the three, everything in balance. Hence the scales. You'll also see shown here as well, the sine wave. The path of the sun and the moon is being shown there. Something else that always comes out of this, and it's one of those 6 questions everybody asks, because we want to be totally in balance between mind, body and spirit, to allow that ascension. And the only way you are going to do that is by stilling the mind in meditation. But what you're actually doing is you're looking at this, you're looking at this, whereas this is coming downward and splitting this way. Just like the physical expression, when you ask why and put your arms up in the air, it is the why. But the Y is also this masculine Y chromosome. So the reason why is this demiurge. Is effectively, if we take the female to be on this side of the screen and the masculine to be on this side of the screen, the play out that seems to be happening in this theatre is basically a replacement of human reproduction, artificially a merging of these two by these two to create something down here that's the opposite of that. So we need to retain this. So we're asking why. And we're going hopefully down this central path rather than looking at this or totally at this. On the organic side, you've got being deceptively controlled from this side. Those that have all the good intentions of saving trees, saving the planet, the organic, coming probably from a feeling inside that you want to protect everything, not seeing the deception of by this, of course. Now, it would look to be, you've got neutral. This would look to be negative because it's a 0, it's organic. This is the opposite, it is right angles, it is squaring things. The squaring of the circle is being shown there. So it's bringing things back into balance, the scales of justice, seeing things from a higher perspective, getting to this all-seeing eye level, that seeing through the eye, not seeing through these two eyes. Now interestingly, because the I and the L are one and the same, which I can easily prove to you right now, take the lowercase I, the little me, where is it? I've lost it on the page now. The little I, you'll notice the dot, it's representing this source. You're separated from it when you are your small I in your ego mind. But even in the capital form, can you distinguish I from a lowercase l? Now in the organic, you have the blood of Mother Earth. So if you take the spirit out of that, because it is being extracted, it becomes organic. And it's these two. And it is sold instead of being allowed to do its natural cycle. However, if you put the spirit back in it, you have this. And of course, with two eyes, it becomes this: soul, soil, oil. So we'll now look at the organic. The whole point of the organic is still you. You're in the middle. It's what you radiate out from the heart. It's your toroidal fields. It's your magnetic fields. Because throughout all of this, it is still created by Source. So Source is still within the organic. Now the earth is also organic when it is symbolised by this, because it is also overlaid by 4 L's. You can also see the 4 corners of the earth are at the centre. You could describe it as the axis as well. So it's squaring the circle. Now you have positive and negatives, and you have good and bad. So you can have a good positive and a negative good as well. I get very confused with the wording on this. So to give you an example of a negative good would be if you were to sort of push somebody. Now initially they may think you're just pushing them because you're being violent towards them for whatever reason, but it may be there's an oncoming car and you're actually doing something to save their life. So that could be a negative good, you could say, because it looks to be going the wrong way, but it is actually for very good reasons. And then obviously we want to be on the positive good, which is up and to the right. Then of course the opposite of that is the perceived absolute evil, the destruction, which of course doesn't actually happen because it is all still under Source. It is still all Source, whichever route you take. This perceived evil is just the play out. It was shown in the film Time Bandits. It's like, don't you think you stole the map? I allowed you to take it because I wanted to test out my creation. So there's nothing actually really to worry about. But with this L, with this I, is where you get, as Christine rightly said, you get all these symbols. You get all your crosses, your hexagrams, and all your half moons, and your religions, your sciences, anything to do with the intellect, the memory retention, not the inner knowing, all comes from this side. As soon as it moves away from the organic, it is under the control of L, the ego mind, which is sort of, seems to be the creation of that, is the artificial, running the anti-nature program. But you'll notice also in this, you have the M and the W. It's the other split on the 33 from the eternal 8. So you have the M from magnetism. The W is the inverted magic. So it's where you get these questions of why, when, where, who, and what. The W is telling you, in this world, it is all illusions, it is all mirrors, because it is the opposite polarity of magnetism. This is why we have to flip the script and aim towards this centre point, this all-seeing eye. It's not something bad, it is absolutely neutral, it's right in the middle. This applies to each and every one of us as well as collectively. And then you may be in female form, you may be in male form. But the important thing to remember is this scale, to keep things in balance. To be between the subconscious and the conscious in a dialogue, which will raise this Christ consciousness through doing meditation, stilling the mind, not letting this fill the mind with things. And you'll find that from the inner knowing, it's the Christ consciousness, it's within the gut. That's why it's in the organic. It is natural, it is a natural process, it is the law and the promise by Neville Goddard. As he explains, the law and the promise. You will get to this point at some point. Depends what route you want to take, on whether you want to end up down here or whether you want to be aiming for up here again. That's your free will as well being shown there. But it's all about flipping the polarity. That comes from finding this balance. Because if you don't find a balance and you allow this one too much control over this one, you have internal conflict. So you need to bring these two together, and then you'll raise to here, this what is known as the fifth dimension. You will become a co-creator. So I hope that gives a bit more clarity to things, brings in a few more other things. One thing else I will mention as well is this key. Now you've got that question, why? It's because it's the patriarch system, the purely male orientated, trying to separate off from the female. But of course on that why is this, the tree of life symbol, which has also been bastardized into nailing a man onto a cross with the arms slightly up. But there's also another version of this, which is most likely a corrupted version, but I can see two meanings in it, and it is this, which I'm pretty sure you will all recognise. So you can take the assonate route, which is what NASA is. You can keep going up and keep coming down because you're not going anywhere. But you can also see it as when you raise that Christ consciousness, when you see that your body is actually the cross, when you're doing things from the mind and you hand over that control to the Creator to operate through your vessel and share that experience, you'll be sending energy up to your higher consciousness, and it will be sending down spiritual downloads, which will go to the heart, the center point of you, where all the energy radiates out from. So that's where you're getting these other symbols coming from. And of course it's further corrupted into this. It is also corrupted by the lunar and solar cults, the Masonic ladders across the solar and lunar pillars. For more information on that, look under astrology in the playlists. Also look at Levette channel for much more on the symbology. So this is just rather convoluted explanation, which I hope will bring some clarity to where we are and where we're trying to aim. But the choice is yours. Ta-ta for now.